don't know why they're not being a little bit more forthcoming and jumping into the mix. Maybe they're a little shy. Maybe they've got a brand new business. Maybe something happened with them on a personal level, and this just isn't their month on what's happening. But, if you don't go out and say hi, there's something that's lost, and we'll never know what it is again.
Well, and that is another, I guess another step technique that I want to make sure you write this down. It is important to nurture your connections and expand your conversation, because no, you cannot force them to return that conversation, but it gives you an idea of the opportunities.
Yeah, you're getting to know them on a personal level, and nothing happens unless there's trust involved.
Well,
business, personal relationships, you've got to have that. And, maybe that person was having that bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe somebody hasn't been on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever for a while. But you've got their phone number. You've got their business card. Connect.
Well, as I say in my LinkedIn guide, connecting is what presents the possibilities. Communicating is what opens up the opportunities. Again, connecting presents possibilities. Communicating opens opportunities. And we all have different purposes for why we're using different social sites, but make sure you have a very strong purpose and a very focused strategy on why you're using LinkedIn. And with that, another area within your profile, the third area that you really want to pay attention to is composing a strategic summary. Now, the summary is what really lets those that come to your platform or find you on LinkedIn to really understand who you are and what you do. You have 2,000 characters.
That's a lot of characters.
It is a lot of characters, but you know what? When you start writing and typing, it goes fast. But you use those 2,000 characters in your summary, and I say do your best to use them all. But write in the first person. Don't just take a resume and plop it in there. You want to write in the first person and really be you. Show what you're passionate about. Share who you are, how you serve others, what value you provide, and what action you want them to take. Be strategic in listing, the keywords that you want others to use to help, that others will use to help find you. In other words, LinkedIn, when people do use that search bar and they put in a word or two or a phrase, those will pull from your summary along with what's in your headline and the other areas in your profile. Now, don't spam in there and list them as bullets, but make sure that you're using them in the sentences so that when someone is searching for your expertise, you will be found. Let them know what solutions you provide, how you can help them, know what the pain is of the person that you're trying to attract, because that's the person that's going to come find you.
Very well said. But if you can find out and get that person to open up just a little bit and talk about what they want, what they're trying to accomplish. The word you use is their pain, because they're trying to figure something out and get something done on that. Talk to them just like you would on Facebook. You can also start with LinkedIn and get a phone number, or get an email address and have it more one-on-one that's out there. But take that opportunity to build a relationship that is mutually beneficial, because in this type of a thing, everybody has the opportunity to gain from what's happening and putting all this together. So jump on it, take a chance on yourself.
Well, and again, it all goes back to, if you cannot be found, people can't connect with you. So make it easy for them to find you by making sure you are putting the information within your summary as well as in the other areas of your LinkedIn profile, like your experience, etc., so that you will be brought up when they search. Because again, they're not going to search for a president of a company, or in most cases, they're looking for someone that can maybe serve them or help them with a situation that they need help on. So that is the best way to really make sure that you are being found, is knowing what keywords someone is using to find you. And if you're not sure, don't guess, because you want to ask them. I know when somebody calls me, I'll ask them, how did you find me? And as I listen to what their need is, then I write those items down. And those are things that I then use when I'm writing out a message on social media, trying to use those same type of keywords that they have shared with me. So always be working and filing stuff away, because you never know when you might need that. But, Richard, we shared, 3 areas on the LinkedIn profile that they really need to make sure they're focusing on so they can be found and make that first impression, and let people know how you can help them. And that's your profile picture, your headline, and then your summary. But and how they can how you can communicate with others on LinkedIn by writing a personal note when you're connecting with them, or when they are inviting you to connect with them. Again, start a conversation by writing a personal note. But what other areas or features, or, in LinkedIn, where else can you communicate with people so they can get to know you? Like the groups, or, what else do you do?
Oh, yeah. The groups is a perfect place, because you're not inhibited in a group. You can discuss in a group what you want, and you're going to have the whole group input instead of just an individual input in what's there. So you can really get some really great conversations going in there, and really the whole group grows with everybody's the whole conversation being expanded. And
some techniques on groups. I have found that I've been kind of sorting through the groups that I'm a member of. Is it important to kind of vary the type of groups that you join?
I would vary the groups around what you're interested in. You have your personal life, you have your hobbies, you have what you do for work. So join different groups to keep you sharp and crisp on everything that you like to do on that. If you have a hobby, I like to fly. I'm a member of a couple of flying groups in LinkedIn, just because that's a passion of mine. It has been since I was 14. But I also like, the social networking side of business, and I'm very passionate about that. So I'm in a few of those groups. So, it doesn't have to be broadly focused. It can be a very narrow niche that you're interested in. But like anything else in the social sphere, you have to participate. You got to be an active member in the group. That does not necessarily mean daily in a group, but it certainly means check everything out weekly. It doesn't take that long in most groups to do that. But, be present, be alert, beware.
And I know that in groups, you can belong to 50 groups on LinkedIn. Now, that's a lot of groups. If you're not going to be able to participate in them, pull them back. And yeah, you're right. Get into groups that are industry related, because you can learn from your peers. You can also contribute and help them. Get into groups that you're passionate about. And if you're in groups that you're passionate about, chances are you're also going to be able to get some leads out of those groups, but also because of the contacts you're making, and they feel your passion. But you also want to make sure that that you know who your who is. So when you find groups that has potential possibilities, in other words, people in there that you could convert to clients. You don't want to go into those groups and sell to them, but you want to go in there and showcase your expertise. Lead them to your blogs, lead them to other areas, maybe onto your Twitter account if you're tweeting a lot on topics that you are passionate about and that you serve others in. So that, again, allows you to connect in groups and provide that and kind of be showcased a little bit so that others want to know more about you. So you have to really make sure that you are have a good balance of the type of groups you're in. Another area that you really can, I guess you could say, really be spotlighted is in the articles that you write. LinkedIn actually now has a platform that you can pretty much just post blogs, or, there are a number of businesses that do not have blogs on their website or blog out there on the web, but on LinkedIn, since everyone's there, you can actually create a blog by writing an article that's attached to your personal account, your personal profile there on LinkedIn, and you can have tags in there. You can, put like certain hashtags in there. You can also take that and share it across Facebook into other areas in LinkedIn, like groups. You can also take it and share it on Twitter. But it does allow you to put out information that is then shared with your connections, because it goes through the news feed that once when you post an article there on your personal profile, it actually will then post in that news feed that your connections can see. And that is a third area that you can communicate in, and that is making sure you do post status updates or go through the news feed and communicate by commenting or liking on those comments. And that, on the articles or on the status updates that your connections are putting on there. So it's important to do all that. And again, it takes time.
It's all about building mutual respect and furthering the conversation on what's happening out there in your microsphere of what's happening. But that's how you build a relationship. And no matter how far we want to take any of these social sites, it all comes down to relationships. It all comes down to know, like, and trust. And that's actually the fun side for me, because now I'm doing business with somebody that I enjoy to have a conversation with. And if we enjoy conversation from a business aspect, we're going to alleviate a massive amount of communication issues, contract issues that come up along the way.
And that, I didn't interrupt you, but that's where you can really utilize your company page on LinkedIn by having a company page which is attached to your personal profile. And there's some, I'm trying to use the right word. You can't anybody just can't set up a company page. You have to have a company email. In other words, if you do not have...
So I can't use like a WCN Interactive Gmail account or something.
Exactly. You have to have a domain email in order to set up a company page. And I'm not going to go into all the how-tos, but definitely come over to So Social Radio Show if you have questions. We also want to invite you, if you want to continue the conversation with us, we invite you to go to WCNinteractive.com and click on the Contact Us and take advantage of a 20-minute discovery session with us. Ask us questions so we can see how we best can help you if you have some specific questions on LinkedIn or any of the other social sites, but especially right now with LinkedIn, that's what we do. We have some upcoming workshops and trainings and all that all the time, webinars, everything. So again, that's at WCNinteractive.com, and just click on the Contact Us and go ahead and set up a discovery session with us. We'd love to do that with you. But again, with the company page, you can then also put in status updates, meaning list some things that are happening within your company. I always list our radio show on ours, on the WCN Interactive, about the upcoming guests or topic of the radio show. And then I put the replay, the podcast link there as well. I'll put anytime we have some events. I try to put that more over on our company page than try not to put it so much always on my personal, but then I will also share it from there as well onto my personal. But anyone that follows you on your company page, they're different than your connections on your personal page profile. But anybody that follows you on your company page then will get those status updates